you've had a chance to speak with Masai about his vision, and he's started to put things in order. What is your take on what he's done so far?
Well, I'm very excited and impressed. We share the same vision. We spent the last couple of weeks, probably ever since he's gotten the job, talked or text or emailed almost every day. So we share the same outlook, and it's been good. We've talked about what we need to improve on, the direction we need to go into, and bottom line is keep growing, keep developing what we have. And our ultimate goal is to develop it into not just a team that sneaks into the playoffs, but a team that can consistently each year say, hey, we have a chance of fighting for a championship. And that should be our ultimate goal. For 18 years, this franchise has been in a situation where they've been, seem like they have some success, fall back, have some success, fall back. And you want to build something that's going to sustain and grow. We have some work to do with our roster, whether it's adding young toughness or veteran toughness. There's some things we got to do. And, the funny thing, we took Rudy to dinner the other night and came back, and Masai went straight to the office at 1:15 in the morning. So he's working at it. We're all working at it. We're going to work at it. And how we get there is going to be, an ongoing thing.
When did it become clear to you, or when did he make it clear to you that you'd be returning as coach, and what has he told you about what to expect on the court from the guys he does collect for the year?
But it's been an ongoing conversation. It's never been, well, you're under the tryout situation. It's been an ongoing dialogue, like I said, from the first day he got the job. He wanted to do his due diligence, talk to players, talk to me, talk to, everybody around. And that's what you should do anytime you come in. Tim did it with throughout the organization, and is continuing to do it. And, any new GM, any new coach that comes in, if you're a player, you're going to come in and do your due diligence. So I wasn't feeling like I was threatened by that. He should do that. I have all the confidence in the world. We're doing what we need to do as a coaching staff to develop, to bring this program along, and going about it, doing it the right way. Did we do it at warp speed? No. I mean, we've been at this a year and a half now, and to go from rebuilding to where we are now, I think we're going in the right direction. The thing that threw us off was the terrible start last year, and everybody knows that. I don't want to go back and to revisit history, but after the tough start, we were 30-29 and going in the right direction. And so what we're doing is right. We just got to continue to do it, tweak the roster in the right direction, in the right way, and go forward.
Dwane, if there's stages in this evolution process in a rebuild, what's the next step this franchise now has to take going into next season?
Well, it's a decision. That's something that, Masai and I talked about. He's developing his staff, and I think the direction we want to go into is going to be determined by all of us, and we haven't gotten into that yet. As far as how we want to go, like I said, the one thing we do want to do and going to do is get our program where it's sustainable, not where every year can we make the playoffs, not make the playoffs? No. And that's something we're going to shoot for and get to, and not just to build something that will last 1 year, 2 years, or whatever.
Will you return your coaching staff, or are there going to be changes there?
We're going to make some changes in our staff, and where that's going right now, that's a work in progress right now. We just to something that fits me, fits the team, fits the organization. Something that addresses our weaknesses, and nothing our staff did wrong, but we just need to add some pieces that, I'm a defensive-minded coach. I think defense first, and probably went too far to the right this year offensively to correct that. And now it's got to be a middle of the road, but we will get back to defense. We will be a defense-first-minded team, but what we do offensively has to fit what we have, and we're going to bring some coaches in to fit that need and that area.
Coaches can be hurt, changes can be made, but do you have the players right now that can be better defensively, more in tune with the way you want to coach?
Well, we don't have abundance of defensive stoppers, so to speak, but again, a lot of teams have that want and need and that type of thing. So that's something we're going to address with Masai. We haven't talked about names, so to speak, but we'll address our roster in the next couple of weeks of what we want to go to fit to how we want to play, a defensive-minded first team. Because we got our core guys can score. Jonas, these past 2 weeks, has shown he's going to be a dominant scorer in the paint. That's going to have the ability to score in the paint. DeMar's a scorer. Rudy's a scorer. We have that. But now we got to surround those guys with the right, whether it's young, old, medium age type tough players.
Is that something you've been missing, the veteran presence? A grizzled veteran?
Yeah, you'd like to have that, but that's not where we were in our program. We were in the development stages of our program the first year and the second year, and we added Rudy in midstream that kind of solidified our roster a little bit more. But we'd like to add that, whether it's older toughness, it could be a young tough player. But we need to add that type of toughness around the guys we have.
What did you share with Rudy in terms of the vision of where this thing's going?
I told him, first of all, he's one of our leaders, and whether it's by example or by voice, he's got to be that leader, that so-called veteran leader at the ripe old age of 27, 26. And, he agreed with that. And he's got to take us that next step. One thing that he's done, and I challenged him with, was to get stronger. That's where his back issues come at a very critical time of the season for us. And that's going to help. He's put on 13 to 14 pounds of good weight. And that's going to help his overall physical toughness, because to go from where he was in Memphis, where he was a, second or third option, to where he is now for us, each night he's got to carry the load. And to do that, your body's got to be in great physical condition, and he's doing that. He's taking care of that.
Coach, from the time Brian was reassigned to the time Ujiri was brought in to yesterday's announcement, was there ever any doubt on your part that you'd be back coaching this team this year?
There's always doubt. When you see coaches like George and Lionel and those guys, colleagues lose their job, there's always doubt. I'm a guy from day one that has a fear of failure. I'll admit that. I say that. That's what drives me. That's what motivates me. And I hope that's what motivates our players. And so I've never taken anything for granted, whether it was this job, any job I've had. So, I'm always have a fear of failure, and I always want to do a good job, and that's what I work for. And I think if you talk to every coach, they would tell you that they have a healthy fear of failure.
Did it get in the way in terms of what you were trying to do? Like, you got that question in the back of your mind, like, am I coming back?
No, it didn't. I've been working, Mike, since the end of the season as far as if I'm coming back. So it didn't get in the way at all. And, again, I've known – the good thing, I've known Masai for a long, long time, probably more than I've known anybody else here. So, that helped that I knew him. I knew what Masai was about, that he's about a lot of the same things that I stand for, toughness and playing hard and being accountable, and just all the things that it takes to win in this league.
How do you guys go back?
Well, I've known him, when Masai was a scout in Denver. He was an intern in Orlando. I knew him. We have a very close mutual friend in Amadou Falls, who I work with closely in Dallas. So we go back, and Masai went to high school in Seattle. So a lot of common threads. But, again, I didn't take that for granted. I knew that he was going to evaluate the program and evaluate the job that he saw us doing over the last couple of years. And, again, it wasn't measured in wins and losses. And, again, that's where we were in our rebuilding program. And, and we still have development to do. We still have growing to do. And somehow, some ways, the word playoffs got us twisted all last year, and expectations got out of whack. And, again, we were in the development phases, and again, we're taking those steps forward. And what I want to do, and my vision and his vision, is to get it where it's a constant, where you're in the playoffs, and build a program that's going to be sustainable over the test of time.
How will that relationship help you next year in your situation? I mean, you'll be in the last year of your contract, and that can be a precarious situation sometimes. So how important is it to rely on that sort of mutual trust?
Well, it's always, I kind of chuckle when I hear, well, you're in your last year of your contract. It doesn't, in today's basketball, you've got to get the job done, whether you're in your last year of your contract, first year of your contract, and that's the way I look at it. And I'm going to coach the same way. The relationship and trust there's going to be a relationship and trust between Messiah and I. Communication, we've talked every day. I think that's very, very important. Are you going to have disagreements, Eric? Yes. There's not a general manager or coach in this league or any sport that's agreed on everything. But the difference is you talk about it, you agree, disagree, and then you align. And that doesn't make me wrong if I believe in something, and it doesn't make him wrong if he believes in something. But what's best for the Toronto Raptor organization? And he has that vision, we have that understanding, and we'll work from that standpoint. And I'm excited about that relationship. And a lot was made about Brian and I's relationship, but it wasn't bad. And we agreed and disagreed on quite a few things, like a lot of general managers do. So it wasn't the fact that we didn't get along and disagreed on everything. So, but I'm excited about Messiah's and I's relationship.
You mentioned Lionel and George. It's sort of been a bizarre year on the coaching landscape. Not only that, but what's happening with Doc right now, Jason Kidd getting a job right out of a career. Have you been surprised at any of that, or what does it say about the profession of coaching?
Well, that's the NBA today. I think it's something about being accountable, productivity, and I don't think it's just productivity on a wins-loss standpoint, which has shown. I think it's where you are in your stage of your program, the development aspect. I think it's today's basketball with instant media. You see tweets during the game, going out through the game, how the game is going. So you're being judged on possession by possession more so today than you ever was. And I think that's the reality we have to live with and coach by. Again, I think it's where you are in your program. It's where they were in their program, and it's the NBA today.
It's not just about wins and losses. Can it in a way be tougher when you're being judged not on the wins and losses, but just on the rebuilding phase as it goes? Because you have to trust that. Right.
Rebuilding's tough. I don't want to. I've been in two rebuilding situations or building situations, one in Minnesota and one here, and I've been in championship situations, one in Seattle and also in Dallas. So I've seen both sides of the fence. I know how both sides work. And I like winning championships better. It's not, kind of speaking the obvious, but again, I enjoy working with young guys, but I think we're in the stage of our program now where we are ready to take another step or continue to, that development stage to another level. Rebuilding is difficult. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it. I still hang my hat on the growth of DeMar DeRozan, the growth that we took our hits in 7 and 19 and with Jonas, and how he improved and grew as the year went on. And did it happen fast? No. But it was an organizational decision that we were going to start him last year early, and he wasn't ready. He'd be the first to tell you he wasn't ready, but he had to learn, and he grew from those knocks and hard knocks he took early in the year, and we took him as a team. But he came on, and at the end of the season, Atlanta was double teaming, Boston was double teaming in the post, and that's the growth that he had throughout the year.
Looking at the conference finals teams, the 4 top 10 defensive teams that made it that far, how much credence does that give the defensive philosophy that you've been preaching over the last couple of years?
A whole lot. I don't think it's ever been a doubt in my mind. As an organization, we had to get better offensively. Put too much time on the offensive side, but not. That's not right. We put the time we needed to get better offensively, but at the same time, we took a step back defensively. We'll get back to that. I promise you that. We're going to get back to that, either by adding to our roster, a younger defender, an older defender. It doesn't really matter, but we're going to get back to the defense first mentality. I thought we We tried to get better offensively, and it didn't. But these games have shown that defense does win. You know, Miami, Indiana, Memphis, you go right down the line, they were all in the top 10 in defense and probably the bottom 10 in pace. So you don't have to play as fast, and we're going to find a pace that's comfortable for us to win playoff basketball when we get there.
Rudy had the procedure done for his vision this summer. How much of a factor do you think the vision issues were having in his performance last year?
Well, he said I looked twice as better. I was twice as better looking, so his vision's gotten a lot better. But no, he says he sees a lot better. His depth perception, because if you notice his shooting, he would miss wide right, wide left, and then he'll swish one, and that's what the doctors found out. And in the drills and stuff, he's shooting the ball a lot better. And I think some of it is because he's bigger and stronger physically. I think he's done a better job with it. He has a better base, better legs. He had lost the strength in his legs a little bit, and so he's doing a heck of a job with his body, and that will help his vision. Anytime I've had players in the past who's had the surgery done, it's really helped their vision. And but overall conditioning is going to help him way more than we'll know.
How much have you been stressing to players like Rudy and DeMar how crucial it's going to be for them to not just work on getting stronger or shooting, but the defensive end of the floor?
No question. We've incorporated defensive drills, sliding drills, because, as you said, the first thing that players do is go pick up the ball, and we got to get our slides in. DeMar especially, I thought he took a half a step back defensively this year, whereas the first year he was doing a heck of a job of growing as a defensive player. And right, wrong, and different, he or Rudy are going to be guarding the best perimeter player on the other team, so they've got to give us something defensively as well as offensively. So that's going to be very important for us to make sure we focus on that this summer.
Dwane, you talk about the return to defense. Do you feel like Masai Ujiri is freeing you now to be the coach you want to be of this team?
Well, I don't, that's hard to say. His coach is what he said. I mean, that's the thing we've talked about, coach the way we're going to coach that fits this team. So in essence, I'm sure that's what he's saying. And I think that's important that we're on the same page as far as that's concerned. I feel that from him. And so that, that's a roundabout way, that's what he's saying. And he wants to know, he was picking my brain as far as the kind of players that we needed for this team or felt like fit our philosophy of how we wanted to play. And that's no indictment on anybody else or any other general manager, or no indictment of Brian or anybody. So, I'm excited about our rapport, our communication. We're texting back and forth in the middle of the night already. So, I know that's going to continue.
How do you think it can help a team to have a fresh set of eyes come in and look at a roster, especially through a rebuild?
It's good. It's healthy. And again, I think Brian Colangelo is a very, very good basketball man. I mean, so it's no anything I'm saying today is no indictment on him or against him or what he's done. And I'm appreciative of the fact that he brought me here. But Masai is bringing in a different outlook. He's his own guy, which is kind of good and healthy. But again, no indictment against Brian. Brian is going to be in basketball for a long time. He's a good basketball man. So whatever I say today, I hope no one takes it as an indictment on against Brian.
Dwane, can Kyle Lowry fit into your defensive system?
He's got to, because he's the head of the snake, Jeff. I think that's the most important thing with him. Everybody say you hitting heads. No, I call it coaching, Kyle. And, as far as giving us that defensive front, the defensive presence out front, he's got to contain the ball. As the year went on, he did a much, much better job of growing into that philosophy. We're not a pressure-type defensive system, but containing the ball is most important, and not gambling and taking chances and putting so much pressure on our back line. And so he did a heck of a job with that, and he's got to do that. And, Kyle is in shape. We've been in touch. I'm going to go down and see him down there in Philly. But he's lost 10 to 15 pounds, which is going to help him in a lot of ways: stamina, defense, offense, and a lot of different things.
Did you think that in a lot of ways, because of the way the season went last year, and you talked about maybe going too far to the right offensively, was Kyle sometimes almost like betwixt and between, not certain of his role? You know, not a reflection of you, but just he's got different guys out on the floor and a different thing going on.
I think one thing that hurt Kyle was injuries. He was never healthy. He started out starting the season. Jose comes in. There was a comfort level, and not only myself, but Jose and his teammates. Then Kyle comes back. So him in and out of the lineup, I thought, had just as much to do with his comfort level with what we were doing as the offensive philosophy or defensive philosophy. So that's why him being in great shape coming in and staying healthy will be huge for Kyle and for all of our guys. Health is a nebulous thing in our league as far as success and failure. Bad health at the wrong time is dangerous. So, him being healthy is going to be a huge thing for him, and his familiarity with his teammates, what we're doing, coming into training camp, it will be huge, yeah.
Last question. Are you picking tonight?
Whoa, that's tough. It's a hard one. I think Miami at home. I think it's going to be huge to see how San Antonio comes out of that stupor, because I don't care what you say. When you stand there almost holding the trophy, and all at once they take it away from you, or you take it away from yourself, it's hard. But I think Miami at home is going to be hard to come away from. All I know is I want to be in that situation with the Raptors there one of these days. So.